Hi everyone, JJIR here, and in this video we're going to see a little bit about Google Service Accounts, which are special accounts that you can use to manipulate your account or accounts in a domain using Node or Python or things like that. Just keep in mind that the service accounts are much more useful when you're using domains than your own personal account. You can use the personal account and there are various things you can do. But what I'm going to show you today is actually something that helps super admins to take better advantage of service accounts, especially when you're trying to create things, which is a bit of an obstacle when you're trying to use a personal account with service accounts. So what I'm going to do right now is just go step by step, just to explain how you can make service accounts that are actually useful for super admins to get work done within a domain. So if you want to play around with this, my suggestion is just to buy a domain that you can get for like $12 a year, and then attach a basic G Suite Edition plan for businesses here. And that's like $6 a month. And then you can do exactly what I'm doing without any problem. And if you're in education and you're a super admin, then you can play around with this as well, because we're actually going to be using an education domain for this. So, but either way, it'll work basically the same. So basically, if you're here in your Gmail, when you jump in, the idea, first of all, is to jump into a Cloud Console project. So we're going to go to console.cloud.google.com. And what that's going to do is bring us to the console of the cloud projects that you're going to have on your account. So when you bring this up here, just to be clear here, what Google's going to do is throw a project at you. So if you don't want this project, you have to go up here to this part and find the project that you want. So you have to either go into the domain or the no organization, and you have to select a project so that you can do this. Because every single project is basically its own world. So you have to make sure that you're in the project that you want to use. So we're just using this one, which is the one I'm playing around with right now for experimenting and whatnot. So we're going to cancel that. But it is important to understand that when you jump in here, this does not bring you immediately to like home. So even if I go here and I click on home, this doesn't bring you really to a home place, but rather it brings you to the home of this project in particular. So just keep that in mind. So anyhow, we're going to go to the three bars here so we can set this guy up. And we're going to go to where it says I am an admin. And here we're going to find something that says service accounts. So this is where you're going to find the service accounts. But there's something here that, funny enough, I want to mention before we jump into making one of these. That is, the project also needs to have a whole bunch of permissions, which are the APIs, so that you can work with Python and Node from the outside, so to speak, to jump into the project, because you're actually going from the outside to the inside here. So even though it's not necessarily needed at the beginning, my suggestion is to first start off with going here to the three and going into the APIs and services, going into the dashboard here just to see what you have connected. All of these are APIs that I've activated. I don't know why Google does this. If I'm a super admin, I would presuppose that I want to do everything, but Google forces even super admins to activate every single API that you're going to use within a project. So basically, this is what's going to allow us to access the project from the outside. So you will have to turn these on. So you want to go to library here and then search for the APIs that you want to turn on. So typically for a school super admin, you're going to want to turn on Classroom. So you're going to find Classroom and turn this guy on. I'm just going to do one for example here, but I already have this guy on. But basically, when you don't have it on, instead of manage, you'll say enable. So you just click on enable, let it do its thing, do a few circles, and then you just jump out again and go back with the arrow to the library here, and you find the next one. So if you want chat, for example, and then you can click on this guy and enable that. I don't know if this guy is enabled, but so just to give you an example, yeah, here you have a button that says enable. So basically, you can turn this on, and then that will allow you access to where from the outside you can start playing around with the project. So either way, I already have all the APIs I want activated here, but it's just a point that I would suggest doing before you start making service accounts, so you don't forget later on. You're like, why isn't this working? And it's probably because that even though you might have a service account, it doesn't mean anything if you don't have your APIs activated and ready to go. So just do that first, my suggestion is, and then come down here to the I am an admin, and then go to the service accounts, which is what we're going to see right now. So basically we have nothing here, so we're going to start off from 0. There usually is a compute engine, the service account here. I just deleted it just for the sake of not complicating anyone's life. But basically the compute engine one you can leave activated here without any problem. And that just gives you pre-configured access to VM instances, but that's not really necessary if you're going to make one that covers everything. So I'm going to make one that covers everything. We're going to create a service account here, and we're going to call this like admin, because that's what it is. And this controls everything. It makes no difference what you put down here. Everything. Okay, so again, really the name here in the service account description is not that necessary. You just have to put something in there so that you know what it is. So after you do that, then we're just going to click on create here, and it'll do its thing. Then this is the important part here, which is selecting the roles. And I understand again that Google wants very fine-tuned configurations here, but for us, given the fact it's the entire project, and then I'm the owner, so I'm just going to put owner here. But you have a ton of things here that you can put. You can give access to this thing of only using Cloud Firestore, or only using CloudTrace, or organization policies, or monitoring, whatever. So the idea here is that for each project, you can have someone who just watches, who just reviews, who just changes certain security things, or what I'm doing right now is everything, so I don't have to worry about all that stuff. So typically, if you're a super admin, or if it's your own account, just go to project and click on owner, so you don't have to go through the rigmarole of making something more specific later on. You can add other roles here as well. So after you do that, you click on continue here, and it does the circles. It's a bit slow, but that's the way that goes. This is the important part here, which is to add your super admin emails so that you can modify things without having to do rigmarole of using the service account email. So here, what's going to happen is I'm going to put this here, which is the super admin in this case. I'll just go here again and put me. So what this is going to do is allow us to not have to share the service account emails with every single document that we have. So what this will allow me to do is to create documents that won't be in the service account email nirvana. So now that you have the two emails here, which is basically, like I said, the super admin or your account email, nothing special there, then we're going to click on done here. And here it has a create key, but we'll do that later on. So we're just going to click on done. Once that's done, we have our wonderful service account here. Next to the actions here, we have 3 dots, and then we have edit, delete, and create key. So if we click on edit here, you're going to have your name, but we have a unique ID. This comes out here, and this guy we're going to need for the next step. So here again, you can create the key going out. You can create the key. The key we will need, but we don't need it at the second time. So the next step here is we need to go to the 3 dots. After you've created this guy, go to edit, and then we need this number here. So we're going to grab this number, and we're going to click on Control C to get him, and then cancel this guy. We don't need him right now until we come back. So presupposing now that you're in a domain account and you are super admin, or you're something similar to that, we're going to go back here, and then we're going to go to the waffle, and then we'll down here to admin, click on this guy, and open him up. Now you don't have to do what I just did. You can go to admin.google.com. It's the same thing. The point is you have to be an administrator to do what I'm going to do right now, so that you can take full advantage of using your email instead of the service email, which is a big rigmarole for me. So let's go here to security. We're going to go to security here. And then we're going to go down to advanced settings. And then we're going to go to manage API client access. And what this guy is going to do is allow us to have access to the thing. So we're going to put a client name here. This is where we're going to put this wonderful ID. And then we have to put all the scopes in. And these scopes are exactly what we're talking about with the APIs. So if we go back here, I'm jumping around, I'm sorry. Go back here, APIs and services, dashboard. Okay, what the scopes are talking about are all these guys here. And this comes out. All these wonderful APIs, okay, these are the scopes basically that's talking about. So I wanted to put everything on. I realized afterwards this is a big pain in the butt, but you can't put all the scopes of everything that Google has. The Google seems to think that you're trying to do too much or something like that. Who knows what. So I grabbed the most important scopes that are here. If somebody needs those, just send me a message in the comment section below, and I will either share those on GitHub or I'll send you a message. But basically what I did is I tried to find the most important scopes here, or APIs, that controlled most of everything, not everything, but almost everything that you typically need within a domain. And afterwards, you have to put these with a comma after each one. So you just put one scope, or an API in this case, and then comma, another scope, comma, another scope. And then what I did is just grab this guy and popped him into here. And then you just click on authorize. So after we do that, we have these, and this guy is ready to go. And now that we have that, then we can go back here, and we can go back to our service accounts. So the 3 bars here, and then service accounts. And now what we're going to do is we're going to download this key here. So now we're going to create the key, and we want the JSON format. So we're going to create that, and we're going to let him download. So this guy was downloaded to the computer. We need to go to our files, and I already have the Linux here set up. So we have our wonderful Linux container here, and like I said, you can watch my video to see that. But what we want to do right now is go to downloads, and as you can see, we download this guy. I don't like him being this long in name, so I'm just going to rename this guy. And we're just going to put jr.me, which is the main, so I know what the heck it is. And then I can go here to the Linux files, and I'm going to pop that into our wonderful folder where our project is. Now this I pulled down from GitHub, and again, to watch that, just so you can see the video that I'm going to add. So I'm going to grab this guy here, and I'm going to drag him down to this guy. Now he's in my wonderful groups here. Now I already had one here before, so we have this one here. So what I'm going to do is rename this guy because I don't trust him. So let's go here, get rid of the spaces, because spaces and names aren't very nice. So we're just going to leave this as 2 to indicate that it's a newer one, because this one actually doesn't work anymore because we deleted him. So this is the real one that we want now. And so now that we have this in our project here, let's go to Linux and see what we got. Now, in the previous video about programming on the Chromebook, I stuck it as Visual Studio. I use Vim, and I'm going to make a whole video on Vim and why I'm using Vim, but essentially it's because I can use Vim on Android and use the same project. So yeah, that's basically essentially why I'm doing this here, for universality, but I'll explain the advantages later on. Either way, right now here in our wonderful terminal here that we have, remember this is a Debian terminal. I have a terminal here, and then the document here, this is Node, as I mentioned before. So having this like this, this is a very simple, well, maybe not too simple, but simple enough to where all I want to do here is get the grades from a assignment in Google Classroom. So this is all I needed, and I know that online there's a whole bunch of error code here. I tore that all out because I know what this is going to do. I already know this code works, and basically what it's doing is going to the class, finding the course, finding the assignments, and then grabbing the grades and the IDs of the students here. So all these are fictitious, they don't exist. I'm just having here for example. So anyhow, so we have our Vim file here. So the only thing we're gonna have to do here is we have to go up here and change something, because I have another JSON file. So here we have the keys that you need. This is very important, otherwise it's not going to work. So we're going to go over here and click on this guy and put a 2 so that it knows where it's going to grab from. So now that that's ready, and down here you have all of your little deviations here. You have to grab the Google App Keys, which allows you to grab afterwards Drive and Sheets and Calendar and Classroom and all that stuff. We're using obviously Classroom here. This is the important one here. As you can see, in this area here, let me see if I can make this bigger so you guys can see a little bit more. Don't know if that's going to help a lot, but anyhow. Here we have the email. Now this is typically not something that you would see in other places, but what this allows me to do is to presuppose the service account is going to act like the super admin instead of acting like the service account. So basically anything that happens here is going to be being done under the super admin, which is this guy here. So once you have this here, you guys can copy this. I don't know if I have it. I don't think I have it on GitHub yet, but I'll put it there soon. And then I'll add that link under the video in the description. But anyhow, basically the keys here, this is the keys, and then the keys are here, and then you have your client email, and then you have null. I still don't understand quite why that null is there, but they have it there. And then you have the private key, and then you have the scopes, and the scopes are everything that we had stuck here before when we were in the this part here. So all these scopes have to go into a file that also allows you to access the scopes in the app here that we're doing. So once those are in there, then all of this is good to go. And then down here, we use this under auth to do what we want to do. And then we have the course ID and things like that. So it's actually not that complicated. And then all we have to do is move over here, and then we'll just play around with this and see if something comes out here that works. So when we're over here, we're going to put node first, and then the name of the file. You don't have to put JS at the end if you're already in Node, so it doesn't make a difference. And then when you click on enter, as you can see, everything is working because the grades and the IDs of the fictitious students are out here. So as you can see, all of this worked out just fine. So I don't want to extend the video anymore. I will make other videos about Vim, other videos about how I set this up so that everything is working, and I'll make a few videos on some of the Node mini apps here that I'm making so that you can access the stuff for your domain. But either way, if you have any questions about the service accounts, please let me know in the comments below, and I will make other videos in relationship to this to make sure that everything is cleared up in the future. Outside of that, thank you very much. If this video helps you, please give a thumbs up and subscribe, and any other suggestions, please pop them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to take them into account and make new videos in reference to them. Thanks a ton. Take care.